Hi everyone, I'm Christine Kopr with Sotheby's International Realty Canada, giving you your 2020 Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver market overview. How did 2020 do? Well, as we've all been hearing over the media, it's been a blockbuster of a year in the midst of a global pandemic. Things were pretty active. We were getting down to low months of inventory at the end of 2019, heading into 2020. And most of us active in the market were starting to feel the market picking up. As the pandemic came into play, the market took a breather. However, all that happened was the pent-up demand and the buying activity that was already well underway just took a standstill for a moment. And if those folks were not impacted by COVID, once the emergency rates kicked in and interest rates dropped, it just created a whole lit a fire under that market segment, I think, and more people were able to enter the market. And this is something that you can see here. We went from, this was January, 1,500 sales earlier in the year. We're around the 2000s. And then as we came here in April, May, which is where the market came to a standstill, things slowed down. But then as we got into the rest of the year, the sales just started to accelerate, and people who were already looking to buy were were getting into the market. And anyone who may have had a hard time getting into market now was experiencing lower interest rates and perhaps were able to qualify and get into the marketplace. COVID also taught us a lot about our lifestyles and where things, how we could live and perhaps not have to live where we were living, and choosing to be able to move to other locations to get bigger bang for our buck. But let's look at these numbers. We did 29,000 sales in 2020. And as we look back, we want to put this into perspective. I'm going to scroll back here because we've got our Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver stats for 2019, where we did 24,000 sales. So about 25,000 sales in 2019, up to almost 30 here in 2020. And we all know that 2019 was okay, but 2018 was really the year that was not that great. And that's where we started to see the prices go down in our marketplace after the new mortgage rules came in, and then some of the additional taxes. Now, 2018 also did about 25,000 sales, so not anything too drastic there. But if we look back into 2017, which is where we had one of the peak years in Vancouver real estate, obviously 2016 was more of the peak. In 2017, things start to slow down just a hair, but prices were still increasing and the market was very, very active at this time. We did almost 36,000 sales. So we're starting to trend back into an average market. I think we're just about 2.6% under the 10-year average for annual sales. Now I want to share a different screen with you here, so just give me a moment. This is always the fun part when using Zoom. Here we go. Now for 2020 itself, doing a summary year over year, we did 2016 sales in 2019. Oh, and sorry, this is back in looking at December, pardon me. So December, we did 2016 sales back in 2019 with 4.3 months of inventory. So just on the cusp of a seller's market. December was our 3,093 sales, which brought us down to 2.8 months of inventory in 2020. So sales were up 53%, and our months of inventory, which is an indicator of supply and demand for and below as being a seller's market, we got dropped into a seller's market there. Annually, price change was a 4.6% price change on the benchmark price, the HPI index. So we started out the year with 1 million benchmark price, and we're now at $1,047,000. But what I wanted to look at here was the quarterly sales comparison as well. So if we just zoom in here a little bit, you will see. So what you're looking at is the gray bars here are the 2019 sales numbers. The yellow bars are the 2020, and we're grouped by quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. As you can see, between our sales for the quarter of 2019 were only 4,300 compared to the 6,200 sales we did in 2020. So a substantial increase in first quarter year over year. Now, second quarter was the only year where 2019 outperformed 2020, and that, of course, was right when the pandemic hit, the lockdowns came in. And then quarter three and quarter four, 2019 did about 7,000 sales plus or minus, and in 2020 we did almost 10,000 sales per quarter. So it was definitely a blockbuster year compared to 2019, as evidenced by the total sales of approximately 30,000. Now, here's your 5-year review. If you just wanting to put the data we just looked at into a bar graph, you can see here we are, 2016, almost 40,000 sales, tapering down to 2017, 36,000 sales, 2018. So right here is where the new mortgage rules were introduced. And I believe the foreign buyers tax came in either in 2016, I believe. I think it came in 2016, and then we had some additional taxes and the luxury taxes on some of the higher priced homes. But the mortgage changes kicked in January 1st, and we definitely knew they were 100% in by May, and that's exactly when we started to see the change in activity in the marketplace. And we dropped from 35,000 sales to 25,000 sales in 2018. 2019 was just slightly better, and then we jumped up to almost 31,000 sales here in 2020. So it was an excellent year for 2020. If things continue on, barring no more crazy pandemic lockdowns and or black swans appear, looks like we're in for quite a ride in 2021 because of the lack of inventory in the marketplace. If a lot of inventory comes on the market, that may change. However, interest rates are really there supporting the market as well. And our Bank of Canada has suggested that they're going to be holding these interest rates low for quite some time. So with that, that's our outlook, or our look back on 2020, and we are gearing up for an exciting 2021. If you've been thinking about selling, definitely the market conditions have been favorable for sellers. Please give me a call, as the market is in need of listings. And if you have any questions at all in regards to real estate, I look forward to hearing from you. And with that, I wish you all the best in 2021.